Hello folks, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Minecraft ChaosVille. Thought I'd show you real fast what other people have been working on the server before we get started on some builds this episode. And maybe we'll find time this episode to help folks out. This is the site of New ChaosVille. It's going to be a little town that everybody's putting together. Lots of folks have claimed buildings. I haven't yet because I am working on the academy and I just have less time to devote to this. I don't want to let everybody down. Besides, I'm not that great at building, let's be honest. But yeah, a lot of buildings coming together, lots of interesting stuff happening here. And, oh, it gives me a good chance to mention I have ender rods from Darkcraft now, so I can set teleport markers. And I have a personal teleporter, which I can use to teleport home. Well, folks, I don't want to waste too much time because we have a lot to do. I think the first thing we're going to do is work on our blood magic because I think that's going to be fast. And we definitely want to get to the point where we can start to convert that giant cobblestone thing into something more beautiful. To do that, I'm going to need a lot of alchemy because what we're going to be doing is attempting to create this alchemical construct, or these alchemical constructs. As you can see, we need some slates, a master blood orb, tenebrae, which needs simple catalyst, coal, obsidian, and clay. We need these things that need gold, glowstone, glass, simple catalyst. All of these things need simple catalysts. So we need lots of simple catalysts. If we take a look at what we need for simple catalysts, simple cata, we'll find that the number one thing that we need that's rare for us is gunpowder. But it turns out that there is a recipe we can use to make more gunpowder at the cost of LP. Specifically, if we take some coal, sand, and then put that together with gunpowder, we actually get more. Now, this is not charcoal, it's just coal. But we have lots of coal, much more than we have gunpowder. So, I've taken all our gunpowder, put a bunch of coal and stuff like that in there, just going to toss that in and let that percolate for a little while. We're going to come back to that in a little bit. But for now, that's going to be our primary way of doing things. So I'm going to run over here next. What we need to do is amass some ritual stones. You have seen me do part of this before, but basically we want to put together some rather large rituals out here to help us actually end up with more LP, because I can't sit around healing myself and doing all this stuff. Just can't keep doing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some rituals around on the inside. I think under the altar we'll have just enough room to do it. So let's go ahead and get what we need for that. Now we need ritual stones. And those look like this. We need our L2 blood orb, a bunch of reinforced slates, and obsidian. We have the obsidian farm, courtesy of our nether tap now. And if you look in here, in here. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in front of the altar regenerating and doing all this stuff, and we have now a ton. Let me just empty out my inventory a little bit here. We'll come back to this stuff later. But we have a ton of reinforced slates. So all we have to do is go grab our tier 2 orb, which I think is right there. Like so. And we should just be able to pull together, get rid of these, and pull together this really fast. So let's go ahead and just make as many of these as we possibly can, because I don't really see any downside to that. Can I just shift click? No, I can't. Okay, well that's odd. There we go. And in fact, we could even make a little bit more with another stack of obsidian. Thankfully, I have let 64 stacks cook up, and so long as the lava holds out on the other side of our nether, we'll be good. There we go, and shift click. Okay, so that's an awful lot of those things. And we'll go ahead and put them back, and hopefully we won't have to sit around just scroveling. Oh, it's terrible. It really, like, the hardest part of blood magic is getting to the point where you can automate LP production. Once you're past that, life is better, but it's a rough road there. Actually, we'll need this in a little bit. We'll start by using it. Now, we need to make at least 2 master ritual stones, and for that we're going to need this in here. It looks like we've actually gone through that really fast. That's fantastic. Hopefully we didn't overburden our... Okay, yeah, that was a fair amount of LP, but we should be good for now. What we'd like to do next is go in here, pull that out, get this in the center, and make at least 2 of these. 1, 2, all right. And now we can go ahead and actually start making some stuff there. I'm looking forward to this part, because this will be great. All right, folks, I have taken the liberty of doing a little bit of digging off camera. Whoa, a little bit tricky of a jump there. Out of sight, out of mind, right underneath our altar, as a matter of fact, where we're going to begin laying down some blood magic rituals. These are intermediate level rituals. They aren't too out there, but they're also sort of out of the reach of most people until, you know, you have to have the tier 4, but basically to get this to really work, and you need to be able to place dusk runes. The first one we're going to put down is the Ritual of the Feathered Knife. Now, this ritual actually lets you sacrifice your life for health. Yes, it basically does exactly what a sacrificial knife does, only less efficiently. Now, that isn't bad, though. Don't get upset, because what we're doing here is we're making an automation, so we don't have to sit there worrying about our health. I think that that's pretty good, so let's go ahead and activate the ritual. There we go. Watch our life. Now, the ritual is active, and that means that our life is gradually being depleted and put into this. Now, it's not a great conversion rate, but it is actually outpacing the use of our orb. So we will actually start filling up and still have room for transmutation. Of course, we're going to run out of life soon, so what are we going to do? Well, the reason I amassed all of these ritual stones was so that we could actually do another ritual underneath it. So these rituals are actually designed to slot. Oh, and note that this ritual will not kill a player. It will make a player live at about 3 hearts and then let their natural regeneration take over. So let's go ahead and put another Master Ritual Stone there. And now carefully, this is a bit tricky because if you mess it up, it's hard to fix. Carefully select the Ritual of Regeneration. Okay, and it helps to mouse over to make sure that your inventory is synced. This is going to take a whole bunch more runes, but we should have enough. And it's designed to fit inside this rune. So you can see as we sit here tapping, spamming the click, you can see the rituals, the complex rituals building around us. This is actually really difficult to do. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. Now we should be able to tap this. There we go. And now we have regeneration. Now these two rituals are going to fight. And so one's going to produce LP and one's going to consume it. Normally it's an energy loss. However, if we watch our network, it will keep going up at a pretty fast pace, much faster than any other way that we could possibly think of doing it. That's because of the self-sacrifice runes. This gambit doesn't become viable until around tier 4 with a full sacrifice altar. But once you have a full sacrifice altar, well then, you're good. And you can see, by the way, we came perilously close to running out of LP. Invoking these rituals without at least 50,000 LP sitting around, probably going to kill you. But this means now that we actually can... What's cool is that these things have the... Wow! It's up here, huh? I didn't realize it would be all the way up here. That seems like... That doesn't seem right. Is that really where it goes? I'm almost positive that that's a bug. Because, yeah, that's got to be a bug. Fortunately, I had some extra, but this would appear... Well, I mean, we'll find out. So that's air. Have either of our rituals broken? We still have regeneration, and we're still losing the life. So I think that these are a bug. This is an item dupe. I was actually wondering where my 20 ritual stones went, and I had to go and make a few more off camera while I was down there testing this out. But it looks like we've got them back. I actually had to sit down and make a few more at the other altar. Well, I'll show you the other altar in a little bit. Because I've got the sacrifice altar downstairs as well. Yeah, so these rituals are still going. So now all we have to do is stand around here. Now, what's also cool is that if we go pretty much anywhere, so let's run over here, right? We can actually see the range of it because this regeneration has such a short duration. So we run over here, right? And we can see that we still have it until right about there. So all we have to do is hang out pretty much anywhere in our base, and we will have, let's see if we can get, how far can we go? Looks like right around here is where the limit is. Yeah. So this altar is warded. Now we do of course have to be careful about creepers and such sneaking in and being creeps and all those things. So it does make sense for us to ward up some of the back doors like right here. Let's just go ahead and wall that up. You know, just make sure that there isn't anything egregious because a spider comes rolling along and that's going to be the end of our day, and that's not a great way to end a day, right? But yeah, no more having to sit around being an extremely tedious self-mutilator, right? We just go boom, 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 right, and just kind of stand here. You can even AFK if you want to, although I wouldn't recommend it since you're kind of vulnerable during the process, right? But yeah, so now that we have a constant source of LP that works in a pretty convenient location overall, let's see what we can do about making that blood wand. All right, folks, so I'm just sitting here really enjoying the fact that I already have, 135. We're gonna be reaching 1 million LP in no time at this rate. I may just AFK for a little bit and do something like that. But what we need to do next is get ready to make the Bloody Wand core. Now, it's pretty easy to make overall. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of this arcane stuff here, these things off camera, but I'll show you how a few of them work. But the first thing we need to get is Essentia, specifically Water, Percanto, and Victus. Now, there are a bunch of sources for things, and you kind of have to look around, but one of the big things that's changed is you can't just use tubes anymore. You really should use golems. But even if you don't use golems, you're sort of okay. Watch, I need a lot of Victus, right? And it turns out that eggs have that. So let's go ahead and toss this in. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and upgrade these. If you toss little bellows on these, they'll go faster. They can go faster still with Elementum, but I think we're fine without. Yeah, these really, really tear through. So now, what we can do, before you had to use a tube or you had to use files or all sorts of terrible things, right? Now what we can actually do is just break this, and we can just go, bloop, and now we have any amount of this. And it doesn't matter if it's already full, although, now we're going to have to get all the other Essentia out. That is the problem, is they can only hold 3. So you have to kind of, hold it. So let's go ahead and pull the exchange out, and then we should get more. But anyways, yeah, so you can keep adding to these jars. And with void jars, you can even just destroy excess, right? But yeah, so we can actually do this work by hand with these big jugs, and that's exactly what we want to do. So we're going to let these all cook up. And yeah, as you can see, we need a whole bunch of it, so we're just going to let this all go, and that'll increase our supply of Essentia. In the meantime, we should have a fairly nice supply of gunpowder brewing. And let's just let that run for a sec and make a little bit more, because it will just make more as long as we reinsert that. Yeah, and so we need to make a lot of simple catalysts. Probably a stack is a good call to start. So simple catalysts. We need 2 stacks of redstone, a stack of sugar, a stack of glowstone, and a stack of gunpowder. We may not need a whole stack, but let's go ahead and just make a fair sum of them. We've done this a little bit before. Actually, should raid the stuff in here. I keep forgetting I have it. And then let's get half a stack of glowstone. And then we need a bunch of sugar, huh? Yeah, this should be pretty easy. Toss in this, 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 and then this. And now we just wait. And because we have our LP engine just constantly generating LP, we'll see that it begins to go down a little bit, but it'll go up and down as we go. So we're actually still positive, barely, even doing the hefty alchemy that we're doing. So this is fantastic, right? Now, this system, unless we get multiple players, will never allow us to be positive on larger operations like transmutations. But it will let us get there, and then, we'll be able to also add in our sacrifice knife stuff. And with that case, it should be really, really easy for us, especially once we get a little bit more. Basically, it makes it very difficult for us to mess up. It's fantastic. And if we add in our traditional methods, it'll be great. So this is a bunch of that. So I need to take a look at what I need to make, huh? I need to make a whole bunch of stuff. Magicales, which is redstone, simple catalyst, gunpowder, and glowstone dust. Feathers, gas tiers. Oh boy, that's expensive. Dirt, sand, obsidian, simple catalyst. Oh, blaze powder, netherrack, oh my god, and lava buckets? Oh, I don't want to do that. Fortunately, this one's instability is minor. Simple catalyst, ink sac, and 3 water balls. Some of these are a pain in the butt. Alright, well, I'm definitely not going to make you watch these, but essentially the process is just like this. You go, you put the 5 things in, then you be patient. We also need to think about these caps, which just we need 2 of them and 3 magicales apiece. And we also need to keep thinking about managing the generation of all this stuff here. As you can see, we've got a fair amount of this stuff, and just by melting eggs, we get most of what we need. We will need probably a little bit more water, but how are we doing here? This is sort of fantastic as a way to be able to do it. And then the real question is, how do I dump these out, I wonder? I don't even know. Probably I can make something to dump them out. Or I can just make some more of these bottles. They're pretty cheap overall. Alright folks, I'm going to continue to get ready to do these next infusions. But I thought I'd just let you know what I'm up to. Alright folks, I confess that took a lot longer than I expected. The current Thaumcraft system takes a while to cook up. I had to do a fair amount of alchemy and then make another one of these Master's Blood Orbs, which was actually sort of challenging to do. The regeneration doesn't keep up with that transmutation. So you actually have to have some active healing items. So I brewed up some fast healing potions to stay ahead of the problem, because the passive regeneration overwrites anything else you might get. But now we're ready, and we have a whole slew of backup material should things go wrong, because I really don't want them to go wrong. Especially out here, it'll be challenging to clean up. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So I think we have all of the materials. Let's just check. that we have earth, fire, water, light, magic, darkness, 2 slabs, an air, and then let's go ahead and take a look at the book and just ensure that is the case. And then we have a spare of everything in case it gets eaten. Earth, fire, water, light, darkness, 2 slabs, magic, and air. Okay, that should be good then. Let's just watch and hope everything goes. All right, folks, so I've got one of the caps done, and the other cap failed and also crashed my recording. So we should have enough, enough water, enough life. Let's do it. Okay, drawing that in. And let's just stay vigilant. Stay very vigilant. Looks like this one's going to go off without a hitch. There we go. So now, I'm not quite sure, actually, how this is going to work. Where did it go? Do I have to? I do. I should just be able to toss this on a crafting table, I think, and make a blood wand, but I'm not quite sure exactly what I have to do to make this work. I know it's trickier. Oh, no. Never mind. Oh, wow. That is going to be a problem, huh? I'm going to have to make a silverwood wand before I can make my blood wand, because it looks like without... yeah, there's just no way I could get that below... Well, let's see. Arcane robes. I think the arcane gear should be in here somewhere. Two 2%, 1%. So another 5% on top of the 8 I have. Yeah, that's going to be too much to ask for. So we're going to have to make another wand first, but that'll be fine. This wand will be ready soon, and we'll just have to put it someplace safe for now while we get ready. I'll go and get the silverwood components for the silver wood wand. We don't have to make a great one, although it might make sense for us to do so. And then we'll get started on... I'll put it together. So I'll probably do the next infusion off camera, because to be honest, infusion's fun, but it's not necessarily great to watch, and it takes a long time to set up. So I'll be done with that in just a minute. Well, folks, it's been a while between the recording that you saw before and this recording right now. In between, I have worked very hard and gotten several things done, not the least of which was I managed to make this silverwood and thaumium embossed wand, which allowed me to assemble my alchemically crowned blood wand. Now, the truth of the matter is, I had to do a whole bunch of work to get that done, and the alchemy I was doing, I just wasn't going to do it by hand. So I also made this little alchemy golem here, who's really been a big help, and as you can see, I just have a lot of jars laid out here, all sorts of essentia, some of it kind of rare, some of it not so much. Let's see, where's an example of a rare one? Terrares, of course, really easy, but like Alienus there, Supremus, all these great things, Ignis, man, so much of everything. And I think that I may actually continue to use this in the future for other stuff. It should be pretty easy, and of course, we'll move that to a less terrible setting soon. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to make a safe area for our... well, what we need to do is make a bunch of poppets and then predicate, because basically I can't constantly have lying ruining my day. So here's what we're going to do. Step 1, we're going to organize our inventory, and we're just going to start making a ton of these poppets. Now the super crafting frames are sort of perfect for this, and we're going to go over into our inventory and we're going to plonk down, let's see, maybe not this one, I think it's in this one. We're going to plonk down a working chest, right? Because we just want to have the ability to move this stuff around. And you'll see why in just a minute. So let's just go ahead and toss a bunch of these in here. Let's also, while we're at it, let's grab, let's see, a whole lot of this. What we want is voodoo protection poppets, right? And these require a whole lot of stuff, actually. Yeah, we need a lot of red flowers, a lot of yellow flowers, a lot of both types of mushrooms, and a lot of belladonna. That's right? Yeah. Just a ton of these things. A lot of both of the mushrooms, a lot of mandrake. So let's go ahead and grab some of this. As you can see, I've been harvesting quite a fair sum. Oh, out of wool. So I'm just going to keep producing a ton of these. and get all the other ingredients amassed for it. 'Cause I think in here I've been using my flight powers to run around quite a bit, and I've been using my mycelium generation to make a whole lot of mushrooms. After I had some friends on ChaosVille come over, let's see, where are my mushrooms? Where are the mushrooms at? I'll find it. I'm sure they're around. But yeah, I got to get them all in here. And then what we're going to do is use an item frame to be able to craft them. And I'll also need to make a whole lot of... specifically, I guess mostly just I need to make bone needles and all the accoutrement. But we'll have that done in a sec. We'll put an item frame on it, and then I'll show you what the next part of the build is. All right, folks, I've got the first of what will probably be many chests full up of things. I'm going to have to do this a few times. I'm going to do it more efficiently off camera, but I thought I'd walk through the process with you. Now, you'll note that my mini-map is off because I'm going to hide this, and if Flying or any of his fans watch for intelligence, I'm not going to show you where I'm going to put this. It's tricky to hide things that have to stay chunk-loaded. So I'm going to be tricky about where I hide it. I might hide it over here. I might use Everstone. I might hide my bed, which Lying I don't think is found yet. So now here's a freebie for you, man. My bed. I'm not going to use that poppet shelf for these because this system is going to try and make it very, very hard for someone to curse me by having them outlay a lot more cost. Let me go ahead and before we go, one last thing. We need some translocators. These are a really, really cool mod from Chicken Bones, who does a lot of other awesome mods. Item translocators. These will basically let us do a little bit of automation, just a little bit of power-free automation. So give me just a moment to go to the target site, which I have prepared in advance, and we will check it out. All right, folks, so I'm down here in the dark, giving myself a lot of night vision so that we can have a little bit of a quick work here. What we need to do is set up a system, and this is basically, we're going to craft this on site. But we'll come back later. And now you'll note, you don't know where this is. This could be anywhere. You don't even know what height this is. There's nothing special here. Nothing you can see. Sorry, just got to be that way for now. Eventually I'll show you. At least I'm showing you how I make it. This is the gist of the problem that we have is that, well, basically Lying has an enormous amount of magical power at his disposal, and also, even more frighteningly, an enormous amount of magical resources. Now, that's a real problem for us because we don't have nearly the resource generation or the establishment that he has. We need to fix that problem before we can really solve anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a system by where I make a couple of these voodoo. Interesting. That is going to be a bit of a pain. Truly, because yeah, it's just not gonna work. Here I was hoping. Oh well, I'll do the crafting off camera. But basically, I'm gonna craft a bunch of voodoo protection poppets. I have a ton of tag locks of myself. And I'm gonna place them in this chest. One moment while I do that, and I should probably just grab a torch if I'm gonna be doing that for that long. Jeez. All right, folks. So I have bound a whole bunch of poppets, and I will bind more later. But now what we're going to do is make a fresh poppet shelf. Now, as I recall, the recipe looks a little bit something like this. Maybe it's rotated, but that kind of doesn't matter, right? Nay? There we go. And we're going to, unsurprisingly perhaps to those who are experienced in the ways of this sort of thing, we're going to put some translocators on either side. Now, what's kind of nice about a translocator is that with a diamond nugget, oh, actually, I think I want to put it on this side. Let me just go ahead and break that. Yeah. We want to put it on this side. What we're going to do is we're going to ask it to regulate the number of... Shift-click? Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, that's right. You can shift-click those things off. So let's just go ahead and right-click. Now, what we'd like it to do is keep us a fixed number of voodoo protection poppets inside here. Now, why is that important? Now, okay, and you can see already it's happening. So let's go ahead and toss this one in, and we'll make a few more off camera. I actually have a bunch more supplies I can move over here. But basically, the reason this is important is because Lying can blast through lots and lots of active poppets because he's a cat witch. A cat witch has access to rituals that no one else gets access to. And I can't win a resource war against Lying at this point in time. Maybe later I'll be able to. I'm pretty sure I know how. However, until we actually reach that point, we need to be a little bit cautious. What this is going to do is make it so that every time he casts his amazing corruption poppet or curse of blindness, he can blow through at most 2 of our poppets. And if that happens, then this immediately restocks them. So lying has to outlay many, many times the resources that I have to outlay, because as you can see, I just put together a few of these by literally just standing around for about 20 minutes collecting resources and putting them together. And we've buried a travel anchor down here. With a staff of traveling, I can be within 96 blocks of this. I'll set it to private so no one else can even see it. And now I can just teleport there. And if I'm up in the sky, I'm down here, doesn't matter. Finally, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of cut into the walls here, and I'll show you how this works. What we'd like to do is grab this, and I brought a chisel along for a reason. This chisel is going to let us make stuff that looks a lot like cobblestone, but is not quite cobblestone, right? And that's actually an important aspect of what we want to do here. So let's go ahead, and as we can see, we can make the regular cobblestone, or we can make... Sorry about that, I had a bit of a glitch. We have the regular cobblestone, or we can make something that looks pretty smooth. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. Now, this basically will just help hide this from like people who are using things like that basically are differentiation. So if they look up at the block above, they're going to be looking down. They're going to see something that looks an awful lot like the existing texture. And that's key because if they're using, you know, well, for example, if they're using ethereal blocks or things like that that look through the same texture, this lets us hide that pretty effectively. So we're going to keep it pretty. There's only one angle you'll be able to see it naturally from. And we don't really care about below. But yeah, and I'll go ahead and fix up this side in just a second. There's ore there, so I don't want to necessarily show that on camera just because that, you know, changes things. But yeah, as you can see, that even the chisel, this looks really close. So with that, we actually have a pretty effective build here. All I have to do is grab up my stuff and take it back home. But now, after I finish making these few other poppets, we're good here. I'm going to come back off camera and update things a little bit with some more sensitive systems. In particular, we'll probably next episode build a system to monitor the supply to know when we come back. I don't want to use an ender chest, although I'm sure some people are saying to do that, because then if he finds the ender chest that supplies it, well, then I'm screwed anyway. So I really need to just make a monitor here. And the outlay cost for that ritual is pretty intense. So he's going to have to like feel out, because in one day, he actually burned through 20 voodoo protection poppets in 2 casts. I just can't keep up with that. Anyways, folks, with that, let's go ahead and use some of the gifts that Lion gave us in a previous episode. I think that'd be fun, too. Yeah, that'll definitely be fun. Let's just go ahead and seal myself. Well, maybe I got to at least get the stuff out of that chest. Folks, I'll be right back. All right, folks, I'm back at my base. My mini-map is back on. You don't know where I put it, but I just want to show you where I went to go down to the place that I went, how I got there. What I did was I used this Wander the Portable Hole. Oh, it's such a cool thing from Thaumcraft, and what's so great about it is I have this blood wand, so now whenever I use it, you notice that my wand is full even though I used it, right? What's happening here is that I'm actually using my LP, and a fair amount of it actually, to use this power. So this recharges from my blood pool. So now my blood and my Thaumcraft power, for at least my focuses, is intimately tied, which I'm really excited about. It's fantastic, let's face it. But I think we're going to finish up the episode by basically using the gift that Lying in Bedmon gave us, which is this redstone soup. This stuff is expensive to make. It tries with that tongue of dog, drop of luck, all these things. Wool of bat is particularly painful. And so what we want to do is use that to make a pretty awesome thing. Here we've got a potion of regeneration. I think we need to toss in a little bit of redstone with that. Yeah, I think we do. And we're going to make it a longer duration potion of regeneration. Not sure why my frame rate's been so bad lately. I'm very sorry about the quality of this particular recording, although I have fixed a bunch of sound issues. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves an infusion, a soul of the world. So I've chosen to go with the earth infusion because my blood magic more than makes me capable of fast travel. I have all sorts of ways of teleporting. Lying prefers the other way, or infusion, which gives him powerful teleportation powers. I have other ways of accomplishing that, so I am going to be using this formula, which uses this golden apple. Now, you might think, oh, that's not a big deal, but this is Notch's golden apple. And I need a lot of gold to build my tower. So before I can build my tower, we're going to have one more episode where I obviously am going to have to go through and do a bunch of other stuff. Oh, and I have one more build to do before we're quite done. But let me go ahead off camera and put together the ingredients for this. And let me see if I can do something about my frame rate, because it's starting to really bug me. But yeah, I just need a few things, including the most painful thing, which is 8 blocks of gold, which is just too much gold, I think. I don't want to do this. Don't want to do this. Aw. I don't like this at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, why am my gold is so precious. 8. At least I still have over a stack, but I'm not happy. I'm not a happy camper. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get a lot of gold quickly. Oh boy, there we go. Notch's golden apple. Let me put together the rest of the stuff we need, and I'll meet you out by the kettle. All right, folks, here we are. Let's just double check the formula. We need redstone soup, a long duration potion of regeneration, a golden apple, and this is tricksy because I wouldn't have thought that it was Notch's golden apple, and a tuned stone, a mandrake root, and a rowan sapling. So let's just go ahead and see redstone soup, a tuned stone, potion of regeneration, that's 2 minutes, mandrake root, Notch's golden apple, and a rowan sapling. And let's just double check that. Looks correct. Okay. And by the way, you know that takes 4,000 altar power. So this is by far the most expensive thing I've ever done in Witchery. And I'm pretty excited about it because the benefits are pretty profound. And it's worth noting that while you can brew this potion without consequence, what you can't do, oh boy, I hate this part. Tossing rare, expensive, amazing things into there. Okay, it's sparkling. And of course, I forgot bottles. I always forget bottles. I always forget bottles. Whew, okay. 1, 2. All right, we actually have 2 souls of the world. Now, as I understand the ritual of infusion, transposition, sanctity, earth's wrath, banishing? No, where is it? There we go. All you have to do is just toss in the correct thing. So now, I believe we have a 7 by 7 and an 11 by 11. Is that right? Let's just make sure that we have the right thing. I have a 7 by 7 and 11 by 11 for sure, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so it's 5 and 7 is 11. All right. Well then, if that's the case, then we should just be able to toss this in. Now I have an anti-death poppet, because this will kill me in the process. Huh. Interesting. I wonder if maybe one of my symbols... Ah! The glowstone took out one of my symbols. Tricksy. Oh boy. Glad that it doesn't eat the things there. All right, let's, no big deal. And let's try this again. And power overwhelming. And you'll notice on the left I have this little meter now. It's tiny, and I'm sorry, my GUI scale, maybe if I go options... Video setting, I set my GUI scale to large, but I just have a big monitor and it's tiny. So sorry you can't see it better. That's just the way it is. Let's go ahead and grab our Witch's Hand. This is the primary method for infusion. So let's just hop out around here and see if we can burn a little bit of this power. With this Witch's Hand. So gross. So the first thing I think I can do is, let's see, if you get a freestanding block of dirt and you just tap it like so, it goes flying off, and it can actually damage things pretty profoundly. I can raise up columns of earth and actually lift things up, and I can do it again. And then, pew, 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 right, which is pretty cool, actually. And then if we hold down right-click until we hear the charge, let's see. Huh, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure why it's not letting me do that. But you can see that we're using up infusion power pretty quickly. Maybe I have to have entities nearby. But yeah, and so you can click things and stuff like that. And basically, left-clicking on enemies with metal weapons, I can take away their weapons. I can throw them around. I can knock them around. It's pretty cool. We'll see if we can find something here. Folks, my bad. It's actually hold down Shift and hold down right-click. And you pull all those out, and all those. So, and notice that's ore doubling. So that's pretty amazing, and it doesn't use, that particular version of it doesn't use very much infusion power. So we can actually ore double by hand now, which is impressive, I think. Yeah, actually it does use a fair amount of infusion power. We'll have to be very careful with that. But it is ore doubling by magic, so yeah, we'll have to use it that way. That's pretty cool. I mean, being able to do stuff like this, and then and do a lot of damage, and that'll be pretty cool. So I'll have to recharge my infusion power soon, because I've already used up a lot of it, but we'll do that off camera. There's a right, it's simple, it's not too expensive, and